The Queen Bee. Two kings' sons, once upon a time, went out into the world to seek their fortunes, but they soon fell into a wasteful, foolish way of living, so that they could not return home again. Then their young brother, who was a little insignificant dwarf, went out to sea for his brothers. But when he had found them, they only laughed at him, to think that he, who was so young and simple, should try to travel through the world. Then they, who were so much wise, had been unable to get on. However, they all set out on their journey together, and came at last to an anthill. The two elder brothers would have pulled it down, in order to see how the poor aunts, in their fright, would run about and carry off their eggs. But the little dwarf said, "Let the poor things enjoy themselves. I will not suffer you to trouble them." So on they went, and came to a lake where many ducks were swimming about. The two brothers wanted to catch two, and roast them. But the dwarf said, "Let the poor things enjoy themselves. You shall not kill him." Next, they came to a bee's nest in a hollow tree, and there was so much honey that it ran down the tracks. And the two brothers wanted to light a fire under the tree and kill the bees, so as to get their honey. But the dwarf held them back and said, "Let the pretty insects enjoy themselves. I cannot let you burn them. I cannot let you burn them." At length, the three brothers came to a castle, and as they passed by the stable, they saw fine houses standing there, but all were of marble, and no man was to be seen. Then they went through all the rooms, till they came to a door on which were three locks. But in the middle of the door there was a wicket, so that they could look into the next room. There they saw a little grey old man sitting at a table, and they called to him once or twice, but he did not hear. However, they called a third time, and then he rose and came out to them. He said nothing, but took hold of them and led them to a beautiful table covered with all sorts of good things. And when they had eaten and drank, he showed each of them to a bedchamber. The next morning, he came to the eldest and took him to a marble table. There were 3 tablets, containing an account of the means by which the castle might be discharged. The first tablet said, "In the wood, under the moss, lie the stolen pearls belonging to the king's daughter. They must all be found, and if one be missing by set or son, he who seeks them will be turned into marble." The eldest brother set out, and sought for the pearls the whole day. But the evening came, and he had not found the first 100. So he was turned into stone, as the tablet had foretold. The next day, the second brother undertook the task, but he succeeded no better than the first, for he could not only find the second 100 of the pearls, and therefore he too was turned into stone. At last came the little dwarf's turn, and he looked into the mouth, but it was so hard to find the pearls, and the job was so tiresome. So he sat down upon a stone and cried. And as he sat there, a king of the ants, whose life he had saved, came to help him with 5,000 ants, and it was not long before they had found all the pearls and laid them in a heap. The second tablet said, "The key of the princess's bedchamber must be fished up out of the lake." And as the dwarf came to the brink of it, he saw the 2 ducks whose lives he had saved swimming about, and they dived down and soon brought up the key from the bottom. The third task was the hardest. It was to choose out the youngest and the best of the king's 3 daughters. Now they were all beautiful, and all exactly alike, but he was told that the eldest had eaten a piece of sugar, the next some sweet syrup, and the youngest a spoonful of honey. So he was to guess which it was that had eaten the honey. Then came the king of the bees, who had been saved by the little dwarf from the fire, and she tied the lips of all three, but at last she set upon the lips of the one that had eaten the honey, and so the dwarf knew which was the youngest. Thus the spell was broken, and all who had been turned into stones awoke, and took their proper forms, and the dwarf married the youngest and the best of the princesses, and was king after her father's death. But his two brothers married the other two sisters,